It's live now. Finish chewing your grapes. This diva was just yelling at me and eating grapes right before we went live. And now I'm in trouble. Welcome, everyone. Very excited to be here. Hopefully we don't have the problems that we had last week. That was a bit of a nightmare. Still turned out to be a fun stream, but it was a nightmare getting into it. So audio video is good. Thank you, QandA. Things might look a little different today, and it's very intentional. I left the lights on today because I'm just sick of sitting down here and it's dark and gloomy. I just don't want that anymore. And what all of you that are watching this are just going to have to deal with is the light reflecting off of my head. That's just the way it's going to have to be. And I'm sorry for that, but it is what it is. So let's get on with this, shall we? So as we wait for people to show up here, we just had a lot of fun doing our members only fish room tour. You want to get the microphone and maybe talk into that when you're...
This happens every week.
We've only done 1,000 streams together.
There it is.
We just did a tour of Lefty 3213A's fish room. We found out what those numbers mean. There is a very specific code to his number. No, it's not. It was a randomly picked number from AOL back in 1959 that picked those numbers for him. We found that out on the stream, and we got to take a tour of his fish room, and it was a lot of fun. He has a lot of Bettas, which made you very happy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Had some African cichlids, which made me very happy. So it was a lot of fun. He's a fun guy.
He really
And
is.
that
He's
was a
such
good time.
guy.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, we do them every week now. We tour a channel member's fish room live on a members only live stream. If you are not a member, it's just for channel members. I'm sorry, but it's one of those things that we do for our channel members, and it's been a lot of fun. It's very intimate. It's very laid back. It's very casual, and it's a good time. And I tested out a new feature on our software today, and it worked pretty well. I still got to work out some of the kinks, but it was certainly better.
Shockingly, it worked.
Certainly better than using Skype. So I liked that. So yeah, let's get right into it here because we got a couple of things to talk about that have to do with the website. One thing you did not want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because it's an interesting story. First of all, I had announced last week on the stream that we had a shipment of sharks coming to us, the Cichlid sharks. It looks like this stream is being brought to you by Cichlid, and it's not. I'm going to tell you the story about that sign in just a second, but and a lot of people ordered those, and we didn't get them till today because COVID, right? I mean, that's just what it was. Things got delayed. We were supposed to have them Monday. We didn't get them until today. When they came in, we mad scrambled and got all of them out. They're all out, and that's good. They're on their way. If you're one of those people that ordered, first of all, thank you. And the sharks are now on their way to you. The interesting thing, and this is what has to do with this sign back here. When the guy brought the pallet up to our garage, it was a funny shape, and I wish I would have taken a picture of it. It was wrapped, instead of clear, what's that stuff called? That plastic shrink wrap.
Yeah.
Instead of clear shrink wrap, it was black. And there was this thing protruding from the center of the pallet that looked like a TV.
John thought he got a TV.
I was
from
like,
CJ.
CJ sent me a TV. This is crazy. But it wasn't a TV. It was cardboard. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. They did that because it looked like a pyramid. Mm-hmm. And they did that so that people didn't stack boxes on top of it. I was like, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But that's not what it was for at all. I took the pallet apart, cut the shrink wrap off. I took that piece of cardboard and I threw it across the yard just to get it out of the way because we were in a hurry. We had just a couple hours to get those things packed up and get them to the post office so that it wouldn't be delayed by yet another day. And so I didn't throw it across the yard, but I put it to the side and we did our thing. And then I was going out there when we got back to clean it up. And I looked at the cardboard and it said, what did it say? Poster?
Yeah.
And so I was like, huh. So I cut it open and that is what was in it, which is awesome. And it's got the Cichlid whale on it, which you can kind of barely see. And it's just awesome. It's very cool. So that's not its permanent resting place.
Right.
Obviously, I've got a tank that's being built right now that's going to go there. That's just sitting there basically to cover up the tools that I have sitting over there right now so that you don't have to look at them on the stream. But I thought that was really, really cool and a nice surprise because I didn't expect that. Whenever it comes the time when we move our business to a commercial location, that's going to hang up on the wall along with another one that we got a while back from Extreme. That's going to go up right next to it, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. So that's why that's there. I mean, obviously, I talk about Cichlid all the time, but it's not there just as product placement. It's there because we got it literally today. So anyway, what do you want to talk about? You haven't said a word yet, and I feel bad. People are going to start complaining that you haven't talked.
I mean, we're talking about the same thing tonight.
Okay. Well, then I will move on because there is another cool thing that's happening, and it's happening next week.
Next week.
We'll have it for the stream, which we can't even see that tank in there. We have a fish that is in, not quarantine, it's in a hospital tank right now.
Oh, yes.
It's an African cichlid that came out of the 240. It got beat up.
Lost
and
an eye.
Yeah, its
everything.
eye. He didn't lose the eye, but he's gonna lose the eye. It's gonna come out.
He can see out of one eye.
But he's all healed up otherwise, other than that eye. He's all healed up. He's swimming around. He's eating. He's doing much better. And I looked at him yesterday and I said, I think it's time to put him back in with those fish. Well, if you have a tank of grown, mature peacocks and haps and you throw one new one in there, if you've ever done that, you know that it can go okay or it can go very badly.
Yeah.
And what my fear would be is that we put that fish back in there and he just gets butt kicked again.
Right.
And you had
can
said,
only see one side,
right,
at a time.
we have a lot of one-eyed animals. You said we should get some more fish, which of course, okay, fine.
Right.
So this time I'm the one that went shopping. Last time you did, and it was a beautiful thing. Those 4 fish are doing fantastic. In fact, the Borley eye that you bought me is quickly becoming the most attractive fish in that tank.
Yeah, he's gorgeous.
But this time it was my choice. I got to decide what I got. So I went on all the usual sites. I went on Live Fish Direct. I went on Imperial Tropicals. I went on the Cichlid Shack looking for larger African cichlids. That's why I went to those particular places. And I wanted to get 3 fish. Live Fish Direct had a lot of really good fish. Imperial Tropicals had a lot of really good fish. But it was the Cichlid Shack that had the 3 fish that, like, when I saw that those 3 were available and they were available in large male sizes, I said, yes, that's where I'm going to order them from. And it just so happens that James Largo, the owner of Cichlid Shack, and I go way back.
Oh, yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, from way back in the shop days. In fact,
He bought breeder pairs from us.
not breeder pairs, whole colonies. He bought a lot of fish from us.
You know what I mean.
But the story behind him and I meeting each other is actually kind of funny because I was a different person back then. And I was a little, what was I? I wasn't an angry person. You're going to sit there and eat grapes on live YouTube.
Story time.
I didn't really understand how the internet worked, and I didn't really have any desire to be a big-time YouTube person. It really didn't matter to me. And James, bless him, he sent me an email that took me about 30 minutes to read. It was the longest email ever, and he was basically asking a million questions on how to start a business like I was doing. May I add, he's the one still in business, and we are not, at least that side of our business. But I actually said it in a video. I was like, this person messaged me and asked me 50 questions, and I'm not going to answer all these questions. And I think I was kind of rude about it, but we became friends after that. And we talked a lot back then, but he's such a busy guy now that he doesn't we don't talk all that much, and I got a lot going on too. But anyway, we've known each other. We've never met in person, but we've known each other for quite some time. He's a good dude. Him and his family are running that business out there. And I did not email him and say, hey, man, you got some fish for me? Hey, it wasn't anything like that. I went on his website like a normal customer would, and I ordered these 3 fish. I ordered a Placidochromis, I guess is how you say it. I hate scientific names. Placidochromis Malomo. I never call them that. I call them VC10s. That's what I've always called them. That's their common name. I don't know where that name comes from, but it's a VC10. We used to have those. Used to have big ones at the shop, and I loved those so much. So I was really excited to see that available in like a 5-inch male. Very, very cool.
Awesome.
Aristochromis christii, the Malawi hawk.
Oh, I love those.
I've wanted one of those for so long. We had them at the shop. Never had one in one of my personal tanks. He had one of those available. That's the Benno chart fish right there. I ordered one of those too. So very excited about that. And the African cichlid that I have described many, many times as my favorite African cichlid. I don't know if it still is, and it's probably because of the frustrations that I've had with that fish. The Malawi trout, the Champsochromis caeruleus is how I say it. The Malawi trout, one of the most magnificent African cichlids on planet Earth.
Yep.
He has them
We
in
have had
male
one of
sizes.
those.
We've had them. We've never been able to get one to reach its full potential, though.
Right. Huge.
We got one from the Cichlid Shack a long time ago, and it was beautiful, but it never got to its full potential. And then I actually gave it to a friend because we took that tank down, blah, 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 long story. But, and I don't know how that fish is doing now, or if it's even still with us now. But that's not Cichlid Shack's fault at all. It was a beautiful fish when we got it, but again, I was never able to get it to that full potential. I'm really hoping that we get this one to there. Malawi trouts are a fish that they'll play tricks on you. They will show signs of being a male, and then they're not a male. The males and the females, until they're like 7 or 8 inches, you just don't know. And so it's hard, but he said he's got them as males. In fact, he emailed me just between the members only stream and this stream. He emailed me and said, hey, you thought you were going to be able to order without me saying something. And he said, hey, listen, I've got the most unbelievable, larger Malawi trouts. I've had them in quarantine. They're all good to go. I haven't put them on the website yet. I'd like to wait until Tuesday, and I'd like to send you one of those instead of the one that you bought. I'm like, well, duh. That's fine by me. He said they're a little bit bigger, and he seems to think that that's going to be a better choice for this. So I'm all for it. I'm like, hey, I'm not in a hurry. If you want to wait till next Tuesday, it's fine by me. So
Awesome.
he's going to send them Tuesday, which means they'll get here Wednesday. And I'm so excited. And knowing him, he's probably going to put other fish in there too. And I told him I didn't want him to do that. I said in the email, I said, listen, this is why I didn't message you. I don't want you sending me a bunch of fish for free. I don't want you to feel like you need to do that. And he won't listen. I'm sure he won't listen. He'll probably do it anyway. But I never asked him to do it. But again, we go way back. So if I was still selling fish and he ordered from me, I'd do the exact same thing. So anyway,
he's
that's going to
awesome.
be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. I'll incorporate it into a video. It'll be incorporated into one of our Tuesday videos. Those videos, the way we're doing the schedule now, because again, I got to talk about something else here, and another thing that we were not going to talk about, but I guess I'm going to anyway.
Okay. I don't know.
Listen, what has happened over the last year with this YouTube channel and with our new business and all of that has been overwhelming. It's been an amazing thing. I can't even put it to words how unbelievable this has been. And it's so overwhelming now that I've kind of been put in a position where I really have no choice but to stop working my other job. Yay, it's a beautiful thing. It's something to celebrate. I was not going to talk about it on a live stream because I don't want to, I don't know. I don't want to be like, hey, I don't know. I'm celebrating. It's the most unbelievable feeling I've ever had. It feels so much different than it did way back when I left that job. It's a beautiful thing. I cannot tell you how happy I am about that. I think you're pretty happy about it too.
It's so weird because I'm the one that did the scheduling, the confirming.
Yeah, we
calls.
both left the other job.
So I'm like, so I guess I don't have to schedule today or confirm calls for tomorrow. So it's been kind of an odd couple days.
This is the adjustment week here. My last day was Tuesday. And so this is kind of like the adjustment week. Next week is going to be, pardon the expression, balls to the wall. It's going to be like, let's go. And the reason why I bring that up is because the videos are going to be, I'm going to have so much more time to do these and to put more thought into the videos and really go after it. So we're going to be doing, starting next week, a video every Sunday and every Tuesday, 2 videos a week. The Sunday videos are going to be very similar to what they've been. That's going to be our videos that are going to be the 10 things videos, the Keep Fish Keepers fish keeping videos, those kind of structured, whether they be list formats or like a structured kind of tutorial / educational fish keeping video. That's what Sunday videos have always been for us, and that's what they're going to continue to be. Tuesday videos are going to be the more relaxed, kind of walking around with the camera, going on fish room or fish store trips and things like that, where we're kind of out and about. It's not as structured of a video. But again, because I'm able to put the time into it, and it's not that I didn't have time before, but I don't have that thing occupying so much of my mind anymore. That is freed up now to where I can think exclusively about our fish keeping business and about, our YouTube channel. So those videos, they're going to be better. They're going to be more fun. They're going to be, it's going to be a different feel, but they're going to be completely different from our Sunday videos. It's going to be a departure from that. Not like you're watching videos on 2 different channels, but the Sunday videos are the ones that are going to be very structured, where the Tuesday videos will be a little bit more laid back, kind of storytelling type thing, instead of the structured.
New tanks and
right.
New fish.
Getting new fish, new projects. Yeah, things like that.
There's been a lot of stuff going on in my fish room.
In fact, there's that, which finally you can have something to talk about.
The tank behind me has a bunch of plants that are floating in there because I went fish shopping this last weekend. And
without me.
Yeah, it was so much fun. But I bought a bunch of plants and stuff to scape it. That not everything's over here, but I was going to do it today, and I was like, we've got all this other stuff to do, all those orders to pack up, so.
There was like 56 orders that had to go out today.
I'll do it tomorrow. But yeah, I'm excited about doing that. But
And
there's another tank back there that I escaped, and I have new fish in that too, and that's amazing.
It really is, and it's going to change everything for our
know.
channel. It's going to it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of things going on, a lot of projects that we're working on, and we really can't talk about them.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
We have a really, really big thing that we're working on. We're kind of going to touch on it a little bit today. We're kind of going to give you a little hint because I'm going to talk about this. But I'm sitting here next to a whole haul of stuff from Aquarium Co-op. This is not going to be an Aquarium Co-op video, but a lot of the things that we're going to talk about
That's
today.
for members only.
Right, yeah. Every tour we've done so far, like every tank has Aquarium Co-op products in it. Corey would be so proud if he's watched any of those, because it's almost like we're doing these members only fish room tours and it's an advertisement for Aquarium Co-op. But the things that we've received as brand ambassadors for Aquarium Co-op, a lot of them have to do with what we're going to be talking about today in our main topic. So, and one of them will be a little bit of a hint towards what's going on, but we'll have to see if you can figure it out. Those kind of videos are going to be the ones that are going to come up on Tuesdays. we're working on a project. We've got something new going on. It could be like the shark review that I did, or the micron, that kind of stuff. The Sunday videos will be the more structured, educational type videos. So, and I'm really excited about it because I can focus on it a lot more now. I don't have that other thing occupying my mind. So thank you. There's 515 people watching right now. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to anybody that watches our channel. I mean, I know it's cheesy when people do this, but I cannot express how thankful I am. I really am. So it's been a dream come true, and it's making me want to work my butt off even harder. So
yeah, thank you, because now John's home with me every single day.
And she's acting like that makes her happy.
Just kidding. It's fun.
It is a lot of fun. So yes, okay. Now that we got all that out of the way, was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we?
I talked about my tank that I have to escape.
There's nothing else though?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want to be accused.
Just kidding. You just do what you're doing. I'm fine. I'll butt in when
Well,
I
this
feel
is a
like it.
conversation we're going to have with both of
Oh,
us.
I
It's not
know.
just me.
I know.
If you're new to our stream, this stream used to only be me. For years, it was only me. So I'm used to being the one that has to do all the talking. So don't give me too much of a hard time, because it's not that I don't let her talk. It's just, anyway.
It is what it is.
So yesterday, you put out a poll, and I swear this is not done intentionally. We do not have this system in place where Lisa does a poll, she puts it up, and that's automatically going to be our topic for the next stream. That's not how this goes. But it always seems to work out that way because you come up with such good topics.
But the interesting thing about it is I literally sit down and I get these ideas in my head and I'm like, well, all right, well, that's a good poll, so I'll do that one. And then I end up doing like 6 weeks worth and just schedule them and completely forget what the poll is even about until I get up Wednesday morning and I'm like, oh, that's the one. So.
Well, I need to start getting pointers from you on how to come up with topics because you're a genius at it. Yesterday's poll was yikes in all caps. You just found fry in your aquarium. Almost all of us have been there. If you've been keeping fish for a good amount of time, what's the first thing that you do? A little disappointed. I don't know if it's football season is back or whatever. Only 6,500 views votes on this one. Little disappointed. Y'all are letting me down a little bit.
Some people might only have one male beta and they've never experienced it and they just don't care about the topic. So I get it.
I know. I'm just trying to defend you. I'm trying to stand up for your honor because
you.
we've had these polls that have gotten 11,000 votes before. So to see 6,500 is kind of like, oh man. But anyway, the options were, I ran out and bought a breeder box or net breeder. Second option is I was prepared in case this happened and I already had a backup plan. The third option is I just let nature take its course. The strongest will survive. And the fourth option was this has never happened to me. And then the last option was other. Of course it was other.
I have to put other for everything.
You do. You really do. And it's almost 100% of the time the lowest vote getter. And it's no different this time. Only 3% voted for other. And what does that tell you? That tells you that your fish breeding in your aquarium is going to happen. I mean, there are scenarios that you can set up. You have just that one male beta and some shrimp. The shrimp are going to breed, but some snail, they're going to breed too. So yeah, really all you can have is one male beta or beta, you might call it. Don't make fun of me for the way I say it. And you're never going to have this problem. But if you're somebody that keeps community tanks or African cichlid tanks, this is going to happen to you. people that keep monster fish and they just have one big trimac or something like that, you're probably not going to have this happen. But community fish keepers, get ready, because this is going to happen. And this is what this tells you, because only 3% had to say other. The second most votes went to, I ran out and bought a breeder box or net breeder. I'm going to tell you my story in a minute, and that's exactly what I did. That was 11% voted for that, that ran out and bought a net breeder, which I think everyone should have net breeders. The third most votes, in third place, is I was prepared in case this happened and already had a backup plan, and that was with 13% of the vote. You and I are both doing this with our chair. You realize that, right?
I can't help it. I don't know why I do it. You're the one that bought me this spinny chair, so I have fun in the spinny chair while we're doing streams.
There's only one person that has ever said anything to me about us, not even us, you doing this in the chair, going back and forth, and it happens to be one of the most important people in the world to me, and I know she's going to end up watching this, and she's going to be very upset that I said this. But anyway, now everybody's going to be commenting on it. Stop swiveling around in your chairs. The next most vote getter was, this has never happened to me. And that surprises me. Again, if it ain't happened yet, it will. 22% said that this has never happened. Now, it could be because, they have the male beta, whatever, who knows?
Yeah.
Or they just haven't been keeping fish for long. Because if you keep fish for a length of time, it's bound to happen, particularly if you keep live bears and stuff like that. But this one, I got to be honest, this one surprised me big time. Huh. The number one vote getter surprised me this time, because I kind of expected, this is the first time I really didn't know what was going to be the number one. But I thought it was going to be either I ran out and bought breeder box, or I was prepared in case this happened. And there's a reason why I thought that. Because the people that are watching live streams, the people that are going to community pages, the people that have notifications turned on, if you don't, you should. These are people that are avid fish keepers. And I would expect that they would have answered one of those two things. But I was very wrong. And it doesn't mean these people are wrong. It just means that it's just what I was expecting. 51% of the people voted, I just let nature take its course.
Oh.
The strongest will survive. 51%.
Wow.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think that it's a bad thing if people are doing that. I think that a lot of people have no choice but to do it that way.
Right.
I mean, it's like, hey, this is what it is. What am I supposed to do? And I think a lot of people are in that position. So I'm not going to ridicule anybody that does that. Is she eating a grape? No. Some people just can't do it. They can't deal with it. They have one aquarium. That's all they're going to have. Or they have 3 aquariums, but very different fish in them. So it's not like you can take the fry out and do all of that. I get it. And sometimes you're just like, well, I'll just have to cover my eyes and act like it didn't happen. And I totally get it. We've had tanks that we've had to do that. It's like, well, it sucks. We want to save every single fish, but sometimes it's just not possible to do that. So, but it did kind of surprise me. I was not expecting the overwhelming majority of people to vote that they just let nature take its course. But you know what? It's pretty cool. And Lefty, even in his tank, the last tank that he showed us, he had a little molly, a lyre tail molly that was a fry at one point. His mollies bred in the tank, and this molly survived. And when you have that and you see that molly grow up, it's kind of special. It's like, That's a strong little guy right there, or girl right there. So that's kind of cool too. But sometimes people have no choice, and I'm not gonna come down on anybody for that. But my story with this, I've told this story before, but I'm going to be honest with you. If this had not happened, we would not be sitting here right now.
Right.
I probably wouldn't. Well, it's 9:30. I'd be home from work by now, but we wouldn't be sitting here right now if this hadn't happened to me. 2010 is not the first time I ever bred fish, but it was the first time something like this happened. We were not living together yet. I had a house, a little house, and I had a 65-gallon tank that had like 8 to 12 peacocks in it. And at that point, I was just an assorted peacock buyer. I didn't go out and buy $60 males. I was just buying the fish that I liked, and whatever happened, happened. And sometimes they would end up being juiced, and I thought they were all males, and it turned out that there was a female in there. But anyway, I had absolutely no idea that there was a holding female in that tank. I just wasn't paying attention, I guess. I don't know. But I was doing some maintenance one day, and I've always been the guy that, I'm sure all of you watching this do this too. Once every 6 months or so, I'll do a real good, thorough cleaning. And I don't take everything down and start the cycle all over again. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying get the places that I typically don't get,
Right.
like behind rocks, and, you know, really do a good deep cleaning in the tank. I had this rock. It was not a piece of slate. I don't know what kind of rock it was, but it was a flat rock, and it was very long. It was like 1.5 feet long. This was in a 65-gallon tall tank. It was like 24 inches tall. Mm-hmm. And this rock was leaning up against the back wall. And I'm doing my gravel vacuuming, and I decided I was going to get behind that rock. And so I kind of leaned it forward, and I went back there with the gravel vac, and I saw a little something move. And I was like, what? What was that? It was nothing. Doing a little more gravel vacuuming. You can't even see me on camera what I'm doing here, but I'm gravel vacuuming. And I saw, again, a little something skirt by, and I was like, what's happening here? Did a little bit of investigating, and there was, I ended up counting them, 44 African cichlid fry behind that rock. Yeah. They were OB peacocks, is what they were, because the dominant male in the tank was an OB, and the female, who knows what she was, but they were OB. There was actually only 43 in there at the time, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. But I panicked. I think I called you right away. I was like, oh my God. And it was like 8:30.
We were like new parents. It was so funny.
It was.
Look at the babies.
I know. And it was never an option. Again, I'm not talking badly about people who let nature take its course. If that's what you do, that's fine. You do you, I'll do me. Since this has happened, I've done this too. I've done that too. But when it was this one, I was like, no, I'm saving every single one of these fry. And we live in King George. We didn't have a Petco at the time.
Oh, right.
I had to go to Fredericksburg, which is like a 25-minute drive. And I got in my truck and busted it to PetSmart, I think is the closest to that house I was living in. And I think I got there at like 8:55, and I think they closed at 9. Grabbed a 10-gallon starter kit, and I brought it home. But that's not all I bought. Shameless plug for our website. Sure, why not? I bought, not this exact one, but I bought one of these, which is one of these. These are the net breeders that we were talking about earlier. Now, the one I got was nothing like this one. Well, no, it was. It didn't have the fancy insert on the inside.
Yeah.
And the one I had, I actually don't like as much as these. This is why we have these on the website. The one I had the two metal straps, I guess you could call them, that come out of the back, and you bend them, and that's what makes it stay on the back of the tank.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was exactly like this. This one has the suction cups, which I like. I bought one of these, and I bought that 10-gallon starter kit. But I've been fish keeping for a long time. I did not want to throw fry into a brand new cycling tank and all of that. So I got this, not this one, but I got one of these, put it in there immediately. I grabbed the big fish first, and I put them in a bucket. It's like midnight at this point. And I put the big fish in the bucket so that they wouldn't gobble up the little fish as I went to go and start catching them. And then I pulled that rock out, and they all went everywhere, and I grabbed up all of those babies, except for one we'll talk about in a minute, and I put those into one of these, and I could rest easy. I could take a deep breath, and I could relax. And that's my strategy all the time. If something is going on, my strategy is 100% of the time, let's calm down. How do we get it to where we can calm down and take a deep breath and figure things out? And this is what allowed me to do that. If you don't have one of these, if you have one Oscar in a 75-gallon tank, what would you use this for? But if you're somebody that's a community fish keeper, you're a guppy keeper, which are community fish, I know, but any kind of live bearers, you need to have one of these, because this is what's going to help you in your emergency. There's other things you can do with it too. It can serve as a hospital. If you get a fish that gets beat up from the other fish, you don't have somewhere else to put it, you can put them in one of these. The good thing I like about these, it's a net surrounding these. So they're in the same water that they've always been used to. It's the same temperature. Everything is the same. There's no big shock there. And they can stay in these for quite some time, especially fry. I mean, I think my fry were in here for a couple of weeks, and they were fine. And then I moved them into that 10-gallon tank, and that's kind of what got this train rolling and got us completely obsessed. And we ended up starting a business and losing all of our money and doing all of that. Yeah. I mean, and in fact, if you really want to go down memory lane, you should maybe, they would be in the video you shared on Saturday, but 5 or 6 of the fish from that original spawn were in tons of our videos, because I had them in my 8-foot, 240-gallon tank at the shop. And unfortunately, they died when we had that tank crash in the basement, which was devastating.
So
but they were absolutely magnificent fish. We loved them so much, and we kept them. We had them 5 years, and then they passed. But that's what I did. We can't all do that. I get it. I've even had situations before where there's nothing else I can do but to take the biggest net that we have and make one of these out of a net. We've done it where, I wish I had a net here, but you bend the handle of the net so that the net is outside of the tank, and you have the big net in there, and you put the fry or the damaged fish or whoever into that net. We've even done that before. But I understand, not everybody can do that. But if you want to be prepared, get something like this. Now, there are other options. I'm not just trying to get you to go to my website. We actually got this, which I'm sorry, Corey, I love you, but I haven't opened it up yet. This is the Zis product that Corey is going to be, has on the website. I don't think it's going to be. I think he's got it on there now. He wouldn't have sent it if otherwise. But this is is one of these.
Like a mini tank.
Yeah, this is one of these. The Ferrari version is what this is. It's another Zis product. I'm not going to do a whole review of it right now, but I'm just showing it to you. It's made of plastic. It's much more rigid than something like that. It costs a lot more too, but this is very, very cool. This is like having a spare tank, something like this, which is very, very nice. We don't sell these. Aquarium Co-op does. So we support them because we love them. So there's your options. And there's other options too. There's other brands and stuff like that. But I just happen to be a fan of this one because I like this in the back. The ones with the bendy straps are fine.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not as much of a fan of the bendy strap ones as the suction cup, I think, now.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
Because the ones with the bendy straps, if you don't have it bent perfect, then the little breeder box kind of leans in
forward,
and a fish could come out or
Yep.
another fish could go in. So,
Yep. And we've had both of those scenarios happen.
So that suction cup one, that's great.
Yeah, and obviously this is something, all of them are this way. I don't know what I have on here. They have an open top. So this is the kind of thing where this is going to be all the way up at the top of your tank, basically exposed to the air up here so that you can feed the fish in there. And the other thing I like about this one in particular is you have the 2 compartments too. If you have, whether it be fish that got injured or something like that, you're not going to put sick fish in here because you want to isolate them.
Yeah.
This really isn't isolating
That's
a
good
sick
for
fish.
a sorority tank if you got a couple rude girls.
or an African cichlid tank. Now, I couldn't fit that dolphin in here or that living stone eye in here.
No, but an Mbuna
But
maybe.
Mbuna tanks, whatever, smaller peacocks, you can definitely fit them in here. They'll be away. They're not getting harassed anymore. And you can, there's space to put 2 of them in there. So I like that about that too. And I don't know if the Zis does that. I don't think it does. But the Zis has a whole air stone thing that you can put in there and
Yeah,
everything. So
that's
it
nifty.
really is like it's that
It's
on
like
steroids.
a tank in a tank.
That's right.
It's really cool.
Yep. This is one of those things. I think these are $8 on our website. It's the kind of thing. Next time you're ordering food, you order one of these, and you just have it. It comes in a. This is what the box looks like. It's a small box. You stick it underneath your tank. You know that if you have that surprise batch of fry, you can put a whole batch of fry in here. I mean, it's big enough. You wouldn't keep them in there for very long, but I put 43 fish in a tank that size or a little container that size. You can absolutely do that. And it's a good way to be able, again, to get yourself to that place where you can step back and you can take a deep breath and say, okay, now what am I going to do? And I think that's absolutely critical because panicking and losing control of our impulses, I've done whole videos about this, you can spend a lot more money than you need to and you can make mistakes
Right.
and you lose that whole batch of fry. If you're able to take a step back and just think about what you're going to do, you'll probably save those fish and it'll be a much more enjoyable experience for you. So now I've been hinting about it, been talking about it. My story about that 44th fish, this is an interesting one. It just tells you how hardy peacocks are. I had a Rena canister filter on that tank. I don't know anything about the Rena brand. It's the only Rena product I've ever had, and it worked fine. It was a good filter. I'm not pooping on it or anything. But I had not cleaned that filter out in quite some time because most of us with canister filters, you know, we might squeeze out the sponges, but you do a deep cleaning on a sponge filter a couple times a year. That's how I've always done it anyway. So it was one of those days. And of course, after I squeezed the sponges and all that kind of stuff, the water was all funky. It was like brown poop water is what it was. And so I decided to go and pour it out in the sink. And guess what was in there? Fish number 44.
Yep.
In fact, I wanted to name him John Riggins. But as soon as I put him in the tank with all the other fish, we lost him. Like, he didn't die, but he looked just like all the other fish.
Right.
So it's like, okay, there's no way to keep track of him. But this fish was in that filter for 6 months. And he was an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter, white as a ghost because he had never been exposed to sunlight or any light at all. He'd been in a filter the whole time. I mean, he was as white as this thing. And it scared me because I was like, oh man, when I poured it out, I had one of those little strainers in my sink. And so the strainer caught him and he was flopping around in there. I'm like, oh, what in the heck is going on here?
Thank goodness he didn't go into the garbage disposal.
I didn't have a garbage disposal in that sink, and that was a good time not to have one. But yeah, that was quite a surprise. I rescued him out of there, put him in the tank with the other fish, and he was very white. So at first we could see him swimming around, but then once he got his color back and everything, he blended right in with all the others, and he might have been one of those that we kept for 5 years. I don't know.
Maybe.
John Riggins, my favorite football player of all time, number 44 from the Washington Redskins. Oops, the Washington football team. And he was the 44th fish, so no brainer, right? So yeah, that's what happened with my first batch of fry. I don't think we've found any fish in filters since then, have we? I don't believe we have. When we were breeding, we had sponge filters, so there wasn't any of that. So yeah, I don't think that was ever really an issue. So,
Well, the beta sorority that time, because I took off the intake, remember?
oh yeah,
And I was just trying to clean everything. I didn't realize one decided to swim through there, and you had to take the entire canister filter apart.
I
And
do
it was
remember
more
that.
than one.
but the thing is, we knew that happened. Whereas this one, I had no idea that fish was in there. I would have taken the filter completely apart, and I would have gotten him out of there. But I had no idea he was in there. Just found him when I was doing some maintenance,
Yeah.
which is kind of embarrassing, but it was kind of a cool thing too. So he was a special fish for about 5 minutes, and then when he got his color back, we couldn't tell which one was him, and so
Right.
that was that. So, but what I wanted to talk about too today was not just what do you do in that surprise situation, but also raising fry. You've raised a ton of fry.
Yeah.
We've raised a lot of fry together, and one of the things that I've always told everyone, except for the food, raising fry is no different than raising any other fish.
Well, and more water changes because you're feeding them more. If you want them to grow faster, you feed them more, you water change more.
But you would do that exact same thing with adult fish. You see what I'm saying?
No, more.
Well, I know, but if you're one of those people that feeds your fish 3-4 times a day, you're going to be doing a lot of water changes anyway.
But most people
So-
don't.
I know, but you know there are those people. But again, you're taking care of the fish. Maybe that's how I should have said it.
Right.
You're taking care of the fish the same way you would if they were full-grown fish. You know how to keep a healthy aquarium, so you're going to do the exact same thing with fry. They're no different. Are they more fragile? Yeah. If the temperature drops by 20 degrees, they're going to die. There's a lot of things that can affect fry that wouldn't affect adults, but if you're doing your job, it should not be any harder for you than when you're taking care of your adults.
Right.
Now, when you're talking about things like breeding bettas, the first few days, those are microscopic little pieces of dust flopping around in the water, extraordinarily fragile. You got to do your work. You got to work hard to get those fish to that kind of free swimming stage where they're eating and then you can, I don't want to say relax. Fish keepers never relax, but it's not as stressful. Those first few days are going to be the worst, and a lot of fish are that way. Discus fry would be that way. A lot of fry are going to be that way those first few days. But once you get past that and they're swimming around and they're eating, except for the food, again, which we're going to talk about, it's really no different than taking care of
I think the
any other
first few
fish.
days are really a big deal too because you have to make sure the parents don't eat them.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I mean, but once you get through those first few days, and in a lot of fish, you're going to remove the parents, not discus, but you're going to remove the parents after those first few days anyway, so that's no longer a threat. You've got to, sorry, the cha-ching distracts me. That's an order to the website. I will thank that person in a minute, but not in a minute, at the end of the stream, I'm sorry. But once they get to that stage where the parents are gone, they're free swimming fish, it's not that difficult if you know how to keep a healthy aquarium. And it's actually a lot of fun to watch them grow. Now, on the topic of food, there's a lot of strategies when it comes to food. But for us, what we have found works 100% of the time is one of two things. One of three things, I guess. An actual manufactured fry food, which Corey has one now. We have one that's a very, very, very small pellet. We have a nano / fry food from Extreme. We have it on our website, cha-ching. Corey has his own that he manufactures in a little squirt bottle, which is brilliant to just squirt it in there like ketchup. That's actually very, very smart. There's that. There is flake food, which, I mean, it's pretty simple. You take and you just go, there's another one. You go like this and you crumble it up and the fry will eat it.
It's just a powdery form, and
Yep.
that's what I do with my guppies.
There is food like Hikari has a first bites, which I never really liked. I'm not saying it's a bad food, but it is literally powder.
Right.
And I think that for certain fish, it would probably work out well, but for the kind of fish that we've always bred, it's never really been something that's worked out well for us. I'm not saying it's a bad product, but it's just not something that's worked out all that well. But I don't think there is a fish keeper alive that has ever intentionally bred fish and tried to get as much yield as possible from every spawn and tried to raise those fry as good as possible. I don't think any one of those fish breeders on earth would argue what the best fish food is for fry. which is...
Mosquito larvae. I'm just kidding.
That's good too, but we don't want to mess with that because we want to do another advertisement for Corey here. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have never used this product. I've never used it. The can is brand new. Again, we're brand ambassadors for Aquarium Co-op, so they sent this to us, which I'm eternally grateful. Because of that project that we're going to be working on, that gives you a little bit of a hint as to what it might be. We will be making quite a bit of use of this. These are brine shrimp eggs.
We've used those before.
We haven't used Corey's, but
Yeah.
we have hatched 87.5 million brine shrimp.
Right.
We've always used the San Francisco Bay brand. I will absolutely use these, not because they were free, but because I know if Corey has a product that he puts his name on, it's a good product, period. So there doesn't even need to be any sales involved there. So this is going to be put to use in our fish room, in our super secret project, which you will hear about. How do you feed this? These are eggs. You don't feed eggs to your fish. No, it's a whole process, and it's fun at first.
Yeah.
I always handled it when we were doing this in the fish room, when we were breeding our Africans. It's really fun at first, and then it's kind of like, oh man, it's a little bit of a chore. But I think this is going to make it a lot easier, and I'm so excited about this. And I haven't even opened it up yet. Corey, Corey's not watching this, but QandA, I hope I'm not in trouble for talking about these already. Was there any kind of a deadline? I don't think there was, but hopefully
no, I think Dina's already done it.
Okay, good. This is the Zis. It is a Zis product, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Yes.
It says this right there.
This is a brine shrimp hatchery, which I can't wait to try. It still has the tape on the box. I have not opened this up yet, and I'm not going to open it up right now because I don't want to lose anything. But when it comes to hatching brine shrimp, it's actually it's a challenge. It's not you just put it in water and they hatch, but it's also not all that hard. And when we were doing it, there wasn't anything like this available, at least not that I could find.
Yeah, I recall you used a Coca-Cola bottle.
I did not use Coca-Cola bottles. It was water bottles, but they were the liter bottles. I wouldn't, or did I use a Coke? I think I did. I think I eventually used a 2 liter. Yeah, I think you're right.
I know.
But that's what we all did back then was you would, and I did this even before I knew you. You take a water bottle, which water bottle, you don't have to worry that there was ever anything gross in there. It's just pure water. Take a water bottle, you leave the cap on it, you drink the water, and then you cut the bottom of the bottle open, you turn it upside down, and you use that. There's a million videos on hatching brine shrimp on YouTube, so just go watch one of those. I've never done one, but there's a bunch of them out there. And you make your own little brine shrimp hatchery, and it's fun. It's like an experiment. When I was a kid, we called brine shrimp sea monkeys, but now we call them brine shrimp. Artemia or whatever they are, however you say that, I just call them brine shrimp. But I don't think anybody would argue that newly hatched baby brine shrimp are, without question, the best food for fry. I don't care what kind of fry they are. I don't care if it's bettas, if it's angels, discus, they're going to eat off the parents. But African cichlid, I don't care who it is. They're going to grow the fastest. They're going to be the healthiest. And it's a lot of fun watching them chase the little sea monkeys. It's fun to watch the fry do that. Gives the fry exercise. It's almost like 100% protein. So they grow super fast on these. They don't foul up the water too fast because they're little, tiny, itty bitty little things. You don't feel bad. I don't want to feed live food because I feel bad. Like if it was feeder guppies or feeder endlers or feeder goldfish or something, I would feel bad. But the shrimp are so small, I don't feel bad doing that. That would be really weird if I did because they're just little fluttering pieces of dust is what they look like. But it is without question the best food. And this is a lot. This can right here goes a long way because you just put a tiny amount into one of these or a bottle, or however you have it set up. You put some salt in there, which Corey sent that too. And it takes about 24 hours usually, and they hatch, and then it's a beautiful thing. So Corey says, I'm always watching in the dark. I see that. So I don't think anybody would argue that that's the absolute best food that you can feed to fry. There are other things. You talked about mosquito larvae. There's Daphnia. There's vinegar eels. There's a lot of different live foods that are fantastic for fry. These are the easiest, and you don't have to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to start a Daphnia culture. You'd have to buy a culture of, not a culture, but a batch of Daphnia from somebody and start it up. And once you get it started up, it's not that hard to do, but you got to have a big whole setup for it. This is all very small. It's very easy. If you use one of these, it's easy. It's a blender. That's what it looks like. And it's called an Artemia blender. Is that how you say it? Artemia, I guess. Yeah. Or if you're going to do the DIY trick and have the water bottle and turn it upside down, it takes up no space at all. You don't have to go buy a bunch of big, heavy equipment, and you buy a can like this. And unless you're somebody that's breeding thousands and thousands of fish, this is going to last you a long, long time. So I'm super excited to try this out for our super secret project. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll do all that on video. And, you will see it. Those will be the Tuesday videos. I don't know. I might do a Sunday video on brine shrimp because that's kind of an important topic. Brine shrimp, kind of a big deal. I might make a Sunday video out of that, but that's down the road. I'm excited to try this out because I know it's going to help us in our endeavors in the future. So, yes. So raising fry foods easily. They're easily accessible. Even if you don't want to go through the hatching brine shrimp and all that, I think you should try it. Maybe you don't want to go through the expense of buying something like this. I'm going to be honest. I don't even know how much they cost, but I would imagine they're not overly expensive. The brine shrimp eggs, they don't cost nothing. They're not any more expensive than fish food. But if you don't want to go through all of that, there is commercially available fry foods. And if all else fails, fry food, crush it up. You're good to go. Or not fry food, but flake food. And I've even heard of people taking pellets and putting them in pepper mills. Yeah. And grinding them up.
Make sure it's something with a high protein.
Right.
Not like a community fish flake, but something with a lot of protein in it.
If this wasn't available, if we were breeding fish and there wasn't this, I would be feeding the krill flake. Yeah. I'd be crumbling it up, and there you go.
I mean, all my fish eat the krill flake.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
We had the best results, not this exact product. This product didn't exist when I was hatching brine shrimp, but the San Francisco Bay brand, we had the best growth and the best results feeding live baby brine shrimp.
And you know what? We used that when I was breeding the angels that time too.
I remember.
Yeah. And they gobbled it right up. Because my angels were bad parents, and I had to take the babies from them so that they could grow up because they wanted to eat them. But
that's one of the challenges of breeding.
Yep.
I was so embarrassed. We went to that PVAS club meeting with Corey. And there's one of those this Sunday, by the way. But it's in the like a trunk. It's an outdoor thing. Yeah.
Yes, I wish we could go.
When we went to that, everybody was doing their whole swap at the end, and there was the auction going on and all of this.
And I really wanted to participate in that.
There was a bag sitting on a table, and I looked down at it, and I didn't get all that close to it, but I looked at it and I was, what is that? And I've been keeping fish 26, 27 years. And I wasn't really focused in on it. All I saw was a bag that was kind of orange with a lot of moving stuff in it. And I was like, this one guy, bless him, he's not watching this right now. If you are, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but there was a guy that was like, that's Daphnia? He said it just like that too. And I was like, I knew that. I would have known if I looked at it. I would have said, is that Daphnia or is that brine shrimp? I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, I've never cultured Daphnia, so I wouldn't know. But I've hatched a lot of brine shrimp, and I know they look very similar. So, but I was like, oh yeah, I knew that. But anyway, the guy was a super nice guy. But the way he said it was kind of like, what are you, an idiot? You don't know that that's Daphnia?
Is this your first meeting? Have you never been to a fish club meeting?
I was like, sorry, I just drove Corey here. I don't know anything about fish.
We're just chauffeurs. We open doors.
Right. But anyway, so, I mean, there doesn't need to be a whole lot more talking about raising fry. It's not as difficult as people might think. There are some fish that are more difficult than others. Obviously, I mean, raising a batch of discus is going to be a lot more stressful than a bunch of mollies. Not that mollies aren't cool. They're awesome, but your mollies are going to constantly be spitting more fry out and more fry out. You can try again real quick, but discus, these are fish that if you got 40 fry, you're like, this is like $6,000 sitting there. Not that much, but you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money potential there. And so that can be pretty stressful where you might get $1.50 for mollies. So it might be like, oh, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But with discus, I don't know why I said $6,000, but you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of money in discus. You'd be a lot more stressed out with that, but you don't have to be. You're going to do the same thing that you're going to do with adult fish. You're going to keep the water clean. You're going to monitor the water, making sure that it doesn't crash, making sure that you're not feeding too much and fouling up the water. You're going to do all the things that you would do for adult fish, and you're going to feed them little teeny tiny food. That's all you're going to do. It's not that hard. So yeah, I don't know that we need to talk any more about that. What do you want to say, my lady?
Well, I think we should address the super chats since it's been an hour.
I think it has gotten to be that time, hasn't it?
Hopefully the people are still here so we can thank them.
Why don't you do the first 5 or 6 of them? How about that?
Because I can't get to it.
Oh, you can't, can you? Daggone it. First one. Sorry, it's 10:03 and we're finally getting to the first one. He wins again because he does this every week.
Is it Fish Room Fever?
It is. Fish Room Fever with the 99-cent poop emoji. I don't know. James is probably getting ready for his stream. I don't know if he's still watching this. Maybe he has it on in the background. Thank you for pooping on us, James. Lefty3213A. No.
It's Lefty 1 2 3 4 5 6.
No, his name is Lefty Lots of Numbers. That's what his name is from now on. Lefty Lots of Numbers with the $2 had a super fun time, y'all. Aww. Best hour of my life. Now come on.
That was awesome.
It was a lot of fun, but don't you put that goodness on us.
It was fun.
Best hour of my life. What are we, like Brad and Angelina or something?
They're not together anymore.
Really?
I don't think.
Anyway,
think so.
Chad Krutz, our guest from last week's members only tour with the $5. Very cool, Lefty. It was fun watching. It certainly was. Kaler's Aquatics decided he wanted to spill the beans because we were talking about stickers because Lefty Lots of Numbers has a whole bunch of stickers from all of the different YouTube channels. We don't have any.
We have no stickers.
Nobody sends us stickers.
No, we have other people's stickers.
I don't know.
We do. Shame on you.
We have the Aquarium Co-op stickers.
And we have the River Life.
And we have CJ stickers.
And we have Tazawa tanks. Did I say that right?
Nope.
Oh, crap.
Try again.
No. Tazawa.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Just say Zenzo. It's so much more fun to say Zenzo. And I have a sticker of Jay Wilson's head.
Oh, Extreme.
Extreme, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jay Wilson's head.
Yeah.
Because he sent you like a love letter with it.
He did, and it's in that box right there. I just found it today.
That's so funny.
I was keeping it for special occasions. Whenever I feel bad about myself, I just look at my love note that I got from Jay Wilson.
So funny.
But Bob sent in a super chat with the hashtag Bubbles Sticker Fund because I mentioned in that live stream maybe we could do a bubble sticker. Who knows if anybody would buy it? I don't know
You
if
don't
it was,
buy it, you just give them
or,
away.
or if anybody would take it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We could maybe include them with orders or something. Who knows? But yeah, I'll look into that. I don't know where to order those and not get ripped off.
I'm sure like everybody else like Lefty has 400 of them.
Somebody could tell me.
People figured it out.
But we would need to order like a lot though. So anyway, we'll see about that. We'll keep you updated on that. Brian Harrow, what's the best LED light for a 180-gallon aquarium? Oh boy. You got a lot of options. It's hard to say which is the best. What I can do is I can tell you what I am a big fan of. 180 gallons are typically 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. So you're probably, in my opinion, you're probably going to want 2 6-foot lights or 4 3-foot lights, which means you're going to spend good money. If you want to have the best, you asked the best, you're probably still not here because this was an hour ago. But I'm a big fan of Current USA products. I'm a big fan of the Fluval 3.0 products. Big fan of the Kessels. But I'm talking about all of these lights are expensive. For a 180-gallon tank, you're going to spend a good $400 or $500 for 2. Fluval 3.0 doesn't come in a 6-foot version, at least I don't think. So you're going to have to buy 4 3-footers. You're going to be talking some big money there. The Currents are going to be $400 or $500, and the Kessels will cost as much as a mortgage payment. So big money is going to be spent if you want the best. You asked me what's the best. There you go. What is the absolute best?
I don't think the best has to be the most expensive.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I would probably say the Fluvals. I mean, I think the Fluvals are awesome. We have one in there. I would have to say probably the Fluvals, but that doesn't mean the Currents and the Kessels aren't good. And there's other brands too. I mean,
My favorite is my discus tank. Those are Current, correct?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the Current Orbit system. Very good lights. You can control it with your phone. All the different color patterns, and you can do preset thunderstorms and all that kind of stuff.
It's just easier for me. I mean, like I love the Kessel, but I find it to be more difficult to turn on and off and make it all the different settings. And
the Kessels are advanced as lights get.
Yeah, I'm not there.
They're not difficult to use, but they are not as easy to use as the Fluvals and the Currents. But that Current rig that we have on the discus tank, it's like a $600 setup because we've got the 3 brackets that hang it up above your tank. We've got the Bluetooth adapter thingy majigger. It's a pretty expensive setup, but you asked for the best. So, Catwoman VA, I know you had what? Philodendron?
It's a plant.
That's a plant. That's why I don't know it. Philodendron in the 15-gallon columns. Have you grown any other house plants on/in the tanks?
Just the philodendron and the pothos. Those are the only 2 those are the only 2. Because I'm kind of worried. I've got zillions of plants all over my house, and I propagate a lot of plants, but I don't do it in the fish tanks, just the philodendron and the pothos. So to be on the safe side for the fish.
She has developed a rather serious problem with plants, but our house looks beautiful, so can't complain. And I've even bought some of them for her. Eric Furlow with the $15. Her money's my money. My money's her money. It's just I'm the one that did it, so it's not like I bought it. You understand what I'm saying?
And
it was a special thing.
I was super excited about that Hoya retusa.
Bless you. Eric Furlow, happy Thursday, guys. Appreciate the stream as always. Sorry to take so long, Eric. It's been an hour. But thank you for being such an amazing supporter to this channel. And thank you for being a guest a couple of weeks ago on our member walkthrough. Alex Sulwiski, I want to get mollies for my saltwater tank. Any tips? I mean, I know brackish. I know mollies. People say brackish and all that, but Are you saying saltwater tank? Is SW? What else could SW be? No, don't do that. Because, yeah, they can survive in brackish water, and that's what people actually say they need, but not saltwater. Come on. No, don't do that. So I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't have any tips for you because that's a freshwater fish. Waddles and wolves. Best part of my Thursday when I come home from work. Love you guys. Happy Thursday. Wow. It's just so nice to hear such nice things about us. That sounded really, really narcissistic, didn't it? Bonnie Eden. I love bettas too, especially my male koi placat. Still never really known the official pronunciation of that word, but we don't say the name of the fish right either, so I guess we can say it wrong all we want. His name is Lorenzo. Enjoy, you guys. Awesome. Thank you so much. Stephen P. 2003, a future guest on our members walkthroughs. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Fish Tank Barn, but the Malawi Trout Fund.
Oh.
I can't wait for a day. Thank you, Mike. I can't wait for a day when it becomes the ice cream fund again. I know why he's not doing that, because everything's canceled.
We'll do it again soon.
Delina Silva, thank you for the $20. Goodness gracious. Celebration dinner fund. That must have been right around the time I was talking about me leaving my other job. And Delina Silva was one of our very first orders. She was the first order, right? Oh. She was the very first order on our website when we relaunched it. Not from way back in the day, but when we relaunched it this time. So, wow, thank you for that. Tina Melamed, I always say that name wrong. Request for the return of Tanks of Our Lives. This can happen. It can happen because, again, I can allow that to enter my brain again. That series of videos is way too fun not to do it. So I could definitely see that happening. I don't know when, but I can see that happening. And I know I've been saying that for a long time, but that was way too much fun not to do that. Eric Furlow, congrats. Y'all deserve the best because y'all are the best. Aww. Why are people spoiling us so much tonight?
He's so sweet.
Melissa Jeswell, John, balls to the wall is perfectly rated G. It's a term from the Air Force. The accelerators on some jets have balls in the... Wait, I got to scroll over here. Balls in the something. I can't see it. In the stick, balls to the wall means full throttle. Okay. Well, there you go. I always thought it meant something else. So thank you for educating me on that, Melissa. I will feel better saying that on streams now because I do try to keep it G-rated. Deep fried apple pie in my eye. You bought plants and they were not from Corey.
Well, okay.
And Corey's watching, so you better say it right.
No, it's just sometimes, if you want to go shopping, you want to do it in person, and that's why I got my plants at House of Tropicals. It's really the only place I really get plants from, unless it is Corey. But Corey's the only person that I would get online plants from. I mean, well, no, I lied. I did get it from somewhere else before, but anyway. I like Corey's plants a lot, and I know that when I get them, they're going to be great, and I'm going to get them pretty quick. So. And
I don't believe, because you went to House of Tropicals to get those plants in particular because...
Oh, yeah, because I wanted to hand pick them and get the really tall...
And I don't think Corey has anything like that he's selling on the website that's 2 feet tall. Right. I mean, those are massive.
He does, but I wanted something that I could come back with right then that day, so...
Well, and it was also a nice little road trip that you took with your daughter who's going back to school soon. So it was nice for you to be able to take a little road trip with her. So she did go with you, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, she
held
did.
The camera.
That's right.
No, or did I hold the camera?
You did take a members-only video that we have to put up on that.
Yeah, we did a video while we were there. It was a lot of fun.
Sherilyn Monroe, I think is how you would say that name. And it has the heart kitty celebrating kitty, I think is what the kitty's doing. And it's adorable. Thank you so much for that. Cody Laguna became a member of the KG Tropicals team. He can watch the members-only live stream tour next week. How about that? Now you have access, and you can watch all the other ones that we've done too. It's been a lot of fun. Morgan H, the Micron I got is pretty noisy. Did they quiet down over time? I have found that they can have a little bit of noise to them right when you start them up, because they're basically purging all the air out of them.
Oh, yeah.
But after they are fully submerged and after they break in a little bit, which I'm talking a couple of minutes, they should be absolutely dead silent. If they're not, maybe watch my video. You can see how to access the impeller. Maybe get in there, and there might be something in there in the impeller that's making it make a little bit of noise. But no, they're absolutely silent. So if yours is really noisy and you didn't plug it in 2 minutes ago, then email me and we can talk about that. Mattman B, congrats on going full-time with YouTube. I downloaded Ember from Breaking Benjamin, and I'm glad I did. And since you mentioned going balls to the wall, you got to check out Balls to the Wall by Accept. Okay. Breaking Benjamin, I'm definitely, I'm on a Breaking Benjamin kick, and go ahead, run the laugh track. I know what everybody's going to say. I listen to a lot of music, folks. I mean, you go on my Apple Music list right now, you're going to see everything from Pantera to Slipknot to Sam Cooke. I mean, and everything in between. Country, funk, folk, everything you can imagine. I'm on a My Chemical Romance kick. I'm not going to apologize for it either. I mean, 90s emo music is something I've always liked. 30 Seconds to Mars, MCR.
Next super chat.
I don't know what you want me to tell you, but Breaking Benjamin, I'm on a huge kick with them right now, and I have been for like 10 years. So yeah, love them. Thank you, because I would have gone way too far with
13 more minutes left.
Lefty, lots of numbers. Yes, my in a pinch move was to use a big net for the night as a makeshift breeder box. Yes, it works, especially if you have the big 10-inch nets. We've done it, and it's worked. I mean, it's not ideal, because unlike this, the net is kind of always on them, and sometimes they're like not happy about that. Whereas something like this would be more rigid, and they're not, engulfed in the net, because you can't really get the net to spread out. But yeah, in a pinch, you got to do what you got to do. That definitely works. Orc head. Are snails good for German blue rams? Snail lady?
I'm not a snail lady.
Snails are good for any fish that won't eat them.
I guess you got to make sure that you're not putting them in. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'd put them in a tank full of a bunch of German blue rams, just because they can be little jerks sometimes.
Well, but that's population control. And there have to be
guess so.
micro snails for the German blue rams to do anything with them. Their mouths are so teeny tiny. So I don't think it would be a problem. I'm going to tell you, I don't think it would be a problem.
Fine. Whatever.
And if it...
Okay, snail guy.
Snails are going to be fine in your German blue ram tank. You just wouldn't want to put them in a puffer tank, because they wouldn't be in there very long. Big fish that are going to eat them and stuff like that. But German blue rams, it's not going to be a problem. Ethan Wilson, walk down memory lane and tell us a garage story. Well, I've already done that a couple times today, and it was fun, and I love doing that. We're going to have a lot of stories to tell coming up soon. Trust me. Phil Bohm Aquatics, Platinum Jack Dempsey and Electric Blue Jack Dempsey just had fry. Put them in a 60 breeder. Seem to be doing very well. First-time partners. Awesome. Obviously, if you have a completely separate aquarium that you can put your fry into, that's best case scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly with a filter like a sponge filter or a small filter, a shark filter perhaps, that you can turn the flow down on it so they don't get sucked up into the filters. Something like that is absolutely ideal.
You know what? I want to argue for a moment with you about that, because I don't think it hurts to keep the fry in the tank that they were born in for a little while, so that they can, grow and adapt.
I don't disagree with that.
By being in the same water that they were born in, instead of putting them in another tank. Even if it's a cycle tank, it's been cycled for a long time, and you put them in there, the parameters could be off a little bit, and I think that's not good for the fry.
But when you're in a situation, when you're in a situation where the parent, we're arguing here, so I'm gonna step all over you.
No, this isn't a debate. Let me tell you. So that's what these little breeder boxes are for. You stick it in there and you stick the fry in there.
What are you arguing with me about? That's what I've been saying all night long.
Okay, but you were like
She wants a fight.
The best case scenario would be another tank, and I'm saying.
But you could use this first when they're micro fry. Yes.
For several weeks, and then another tank, because I just don't want you to give the wrong impression, like, oh, you should get them as little micro fry and stick them in a brand new tank.
I didn't say that. Y'all know that. I didn't say that.
Okay, well, I just wanted to argue.
You just wanted to look smarter than me. You already look better than me. Now you want to be smarter than me.
Go
That's
on.
fine. You're smarter than me. Whatever. Catwoman VA Riggins with the exclamation point, hashtag HTTR forever. And that was before I actually said why I named that fish John Riggins. She's from Virginia, so she gets it. I mean, we're all John Riggins fans around here. The only jersey I own from the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. Matthew Meyer with the $5 and no text whatsoever. Just, here's my money. Lefty Lots of Numbers again comes in. Sarah Micron, Hikari First Bite, Co-op Fry Food for me. There you go. The First Bite, it might be different now. I want to say it was green before. I don't know. Something about it didn't work out well for me. We were talking about Corey, and he came in and threw a super chat down to let me know I'm always watching in the dark, which is a little weird, but that's fine. Corey's been in this basement with me in the dark. And that just got even weirder because that's not what I meant. But on the stream is what I meant. Moving on, Cody Clark again, 100 gallons stocked with 2 Oscars and a Jack Dempsey and a Pleco. Is this okay? Absolutely. Yes, it is. And you know what? You are doing way better than most people would. So yeah, you're doing really good there. Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. I don't need to say anything more about it. Good for you. Priscilla MK Art, good grief, with the $20 because John is awesome and Lisa is the best. Miss you guys.
Thank you, Priscilla.
That's very sweet of you. I'm awesome, but you are the best.
Yes.
That's a smart woman. Lefty Lots of Numbers is sending lots of super chats tonight. I'm sending you an envelope of stickers right now. There you go. Sabrina Stewart with the $1 and says nothing at all. Just here's my money. Texas Fish Room. I'll be sending you an email tomorrow about stickers. I make them for a living.
Wow.
Small world we live in right now, right? Valeria Clinch. I really hope I'm not botching your name. With the $3 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Brian Harrow again. Best light for 190 gallon Oscar tank. I'm sorry. It took me a long time to answer that. That's just, I'm a jerk. But he sent 2 super chats to ask the same question. I hope you got your $4 worth from my answer before. Lots of really good lights out there. But you know what? Some of my favorite tanks that I've ever had, as far as my personal tanks, had shop lights on them that were $8 at Home Depot. I'm just saying. There's a lot of really good lights out there. You can spend as much money as you want. But I don't know. I'm not a light snob either. I mean, the tank is lit and it looks nice. I'm happy. So I don't know if that tells you anything. Allison Edmondson, looking forward to the day we can participate in fish room tours. Until then, take my money. Keep up with the good work. Yeah, there's no rules when it comes to that. If somebody emails me and says, I got one tank, I want to show it to you, I'll still do that, but we'll do like 3 or 4 of them that day. You know what I'm saying? A couple of people email and say, we've only got 1 or 2 tanks. We can just do like 3 short tours. That'd be a lot of fun too. So no rules when it comes to that. Catwoman VA again. This woman is spoiling us. How long should media be in an established tank before it's properly seeded to use to kickstart a new tank's cycle? Corey did a good bit on this the other night. I hope you're still listening, Corey, because that was genius what you did on your live stream the other night. And I'm totally drawing a blank on what it was that you called it. It's not seasoned aquarium, but he has like an acronym for it. Now, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. It's 10:30 at night. But something about seasoned aquarium. Anyway, I enjoyed it very much and it was very good. But your aquarium will tell you, Catwoman. That's the thing. Selena Kyle. your aquarium's going to tell you, because your aquarium's going to be healthy. There's going to be algae. There's going to be life happening in your aquarium. If you have live plants in there, your plants are going to be flourishing. You're not worried about ammonia spikes anymore. Your nitrates are under control. You're going to know when your aquarium's healthy. And then I would give it a little bit more time, and then you could use it. Don't start up an aquarium and then a month later take that filter and expect that to be good to go. You know what I mean? You want there to be some life in that. You want there to be some real action happening if you're going to transfer the filter over or whatever it is that you're going to do. So give it some time and let your aquarium tell you when it's ready. The seasoned aquarium, let that one tell you, and let your test kit tell you. Right?
Mm-hmm. I thought you were talking about like taking a filter off an existing tank and putting it on a brand new tank to get it cycled, because I've done that a lot.
Yeah, but usually the filters that you do that with are, they've got some age to them.
Yeah, I make sure they're nice and funky.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
you don't start up a tank and then 2 weeks later pull the filter off and put it on a new
Right.
tank and expect that's going to do the trick.
Exactly.
It might, but
You
it
don't wanna
might. It
risk-
also might not.
you don't
And then
wanna
you're
risk
also
the
risking the existing tank. So yeah. Falx with the 99-cent super chats, and then a Catwoman again. Oh, thank you, Falx. I hope I'm saying it. It's just crazy. She keeps spoiling us tonight. I call it musical ad. Musical ADD.
Oh,
Would that be the My Chemical Romance? Probably, because that was 10/18. I say I'm on a My Chemical Romance kick. I'm on a Welcome to the Black Parade kick. I really like Gerard Way a lot. I think he's an awesome dude. I love the Umbrella Academy. There's a lot of things that he's done that have nothing to do with MCR that I love a lot. I love Jared Leto, so I'm naturally going to love his music. So I don't know. I'm not afraid to admit that I like emo music, and I don't care if anybody makes fun of me for it. I'm a 46-year-old guy that listens to emo music. No, I never dyed my hair black, and no, I never had a lip ring. Because that's what emo kids do. Don't look at me like that. You act like you never... Shauna!
I've had piercings, but
I know you did.
I grew up and I'm an adult now.
There might be full-grown adults
I'm
that...
talking about when I was younger and had different... I'm not talking about a belly button piercing or something. You know what I mean. Let me stop.
Let me save you here. Let me reel you in.
No, and I'm not saying that because I don't want to offend anybody, because hopefully I'm not, but I'm kind of embarrassed.
I think Lenny Kravitz is very offended right now because he's like 58 and still walking around. Dennis Rodman is also very offended. Anyway, Shayna Frato, I hope I'm saying that right. I just received my plant order today early from Aquarium Co-op, beautifully packed and super healthy. Thanks for suggesting. You've made getting back into fish keeping so much more fun. You're welcome, Corey, and you're welcome, Shayna. I'm going to tell you something. Being somebody that does exactly what Corey does, except on a micro scale compared to him, I watched, I'd seen it a long time ago, but I watched it again, his warehouse tour with Dean on his channel. Wow.
It's a great setup.
That's all I'm going to say is wow. Somebody that does what I do, when you see it done to that scale, wow. Orkhead sent a super chat earlier and decided to become a member too. So welcome to the team. Mr. Moon, polyester batting, are you for it or against it? I use it all the time. Polyfill, all the time. You do have to be careful with it. It works great, but it also clogs up really fast. And I would suggest using it inside of something, like a pantyhose or something like that, because it can kind of go all over the place. And if you're putting it in your filter, unless you have it like in a tray or something, if you're putting it in a hang on the back filter or something like that, it can kind of go all over, and it's nasty mud when you pull it out. It can be kind of gross, but I think it works extremely well, and I've used it a lot. I have a bag. You can't see it, but I have a bag in that tank stand right there. Rebecca Cox became a new member. Welcome to the team. Matthew Meyer, seen seen as you like messages, love you guys.
Aw.
We definitely like messages. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Petsotics, multiple aquariums. John is the king of weird.
I agree.
I'm pretty weird. I like video games. I like emo music. I like corn, and not the vegetable. I like that a lot too. I mean the band Corn. I like new metal. I like butt rock. I like emo music. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Yeah, I'm definitely weird.
I like plants and I like cats.
And she likes me, which is like, how'd that happen? I don't even know.
That's weird.
You didn't even like cats when you met me.
I did too like cats. I had a cat named Stupid.
Her cat's name was Stupid. Gilbert Sanchez, my beta has ick. I treated it with ick X a week ago, but came back once I lowered the temp. Is it okay to use Fritz Fix Ick now? Sure. You certainly can. I mean, if you turned the temperature back down, I don't know how high you went with it, and you did some water changes or whatever to get the medication out, and you're starting all over again, use Fix Ick, absolutely. But keep the temperature up longer, right? I mean, obviously, I'm not saying it's your fault, Gilbert, but maybe you didn't have the temperature up for long enough to let it really run its course and get completely out of there. Go a little longer this time. And then maybe think about not lowering your temperature quite so far next time. Maybe your beta needs it to be a little warmer. You never know. So I hope that helps. And lastly, I believe it's last, Fish Tank Barn again decided to contribute $10 tonight to the Malawi Trout Ice Cream Fund.
Aww.
That would be gross ice cream,
Ew.
Mike.
Yeah. But
Gross, because I don't even like seafood at all. You like shrimp. You've become a big fan of shrimp. I don't like anything that comes out of the water. The only time I eat shrimp is at Sakura, which I'm pretty sure is a national chain. But if you don't know what that is, it's a hibachi grill. Like all hibachi grills, they give you the shrimp and they throw it in your mouth from across the table and all that kind of stuff. And the only reason I eat that is because I could eat that yum yum sauce. You could put that yum yum sauce on anything and I would eat it. And so I completely pummel the shrimp with that. And it's just another excuse to put 500 calories worth of yum yum sauce in your mouth.
well, shrimp is the only live thing I eat since I don't eat meat.
It's first time saying that publicly. Congratulations. It's
I don't
true.
eat farm animals.
And I admire you for that. Rain Warlock says opinion about eels and betas in the same aquarium. I don't know enough about eels to make that comment or to answer that.
To make that comment.
Obviously. I don't know of any eels that are compatible with betas. Have you heard of any? Please don't say no. Please have something to say. Dang it. She said no. Yeah, I know they're extremely popular. There's a lot of rope fish and the dragonfish and I'm not going to say bikers are in that same category because they're not like that. But there's a lot of those type fish. I am a big fan of loaches, dojo loaches and the coolie loaches and stuff like that, which look a lot like eels.
We traded something in at the fish store once and we put it in CJ's tank. What was that?
That was one of those dragonfish things that I don't know what their scientific name is, but their head literally looks like a dragon.
I mean, it was cute too.
Yeah.
It was so long ago, I can barely remember, but
those are definitely neat. I mean, the ones that I've kept in the past got too big for what I would be comfortable having a beta with, but there's a lot of people out there that know a whole lot more about those kind of fish than I do. So I would definitely go to them, and your money will probably be much more better spent with them than it is me, unfortunately. So I hate to do that, but I hate when people ask a question that I don't know the answer to. But the fact is, there's a lot of questions I don't know the answer to. I'm just a fish keeper. And it just so happens that people watch when I make videos about it. And we make videos about it. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I don't know everything about fish keeping. I got a very small hard drive up here. And it's running out of space. So, but there's certain fish that I've never kept and don't really know a whole lot about. So I'm not going to make something up. And I also don't like saying, well, I've heard, because that's, I don't know. So somebody said, are coolie loaches okay with angelfish? Yeah, because they're always going to be hiding. Get a group of them though, and they'll come out more. But yeah, they should certainly be fine with angels. But we are 5 minutes over our time, folks, which means we've streamed for 2.5 hours tonight, 2 hours and 36 minutes to be exact, because we did the
3. Oh, no, because we took a 30-minute break.
Yep. 2.5 hours of streaming tonight. That's how committed we are. If you have not become a member and you're wondering what this whole thing is with the members tours, every week on Thursdays before the mainstream, we do a tour of channel members' fish rooms. These don't have to be professional fish rooms. I mean, Lefty Lots of Numbers had fish in he had tanks in his basement. He had tanks in his bedroom. He had tanks over here, tanks over there. And they just tour and show us all the tanks. We talk about what filtration they have, which is always Aquarium Co-op sponge filters.
Always.
Every single tank.
Well, if we did mine,
half the tanks would be that
Yeah.
too. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun to see what other people are doing. It's fun to see their fish. And we saw an amazing tank today. We've seen an amazing tank every single week. It's been a lot of fun. So
yeah, it's been so much fun.
if you want to be a part of that, if you want to watch that, or if someday you might want to go to tour us through your fish room, click the join button down below. It doesn't matter if you're watching on your desktop or a phone. Turn it into portrait mode and scroll up, and you'll see the little join button right next to the subscribe button. That's how you become involved in those. Yes, there is money involved, so if you can't do it, I understand. But that is what we're talking about when we talk about doing those. We're doing them every single week, and it's a lot of fun. So I did say, and I got to do this. Whoa.
Ooh.
I don't want to break my phone that's already broken. We did have some orders pop through, and I have said that I want to shout those people out when that happens during the stream. So we've got Janice Lundberg, Justin Powers, Delina Silva again, Jacob Smith, Morgan Holgren, and Mike Howe.
Oh,
He contributed even more to
that's so sweet.
the Trout Ice Cream Fund tonight. So thank you all so much for those orders. They'll go out tomorrow.
Eduardo Lopez, thank you for the $1 super chat.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing. Of course, Steenfot pops up at the very end like he always does.
I've seen him in there.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, because he was wondering if it was a fish stream.
Why?
Because we were talking about fish at the very end. It was about My Chemical Romance. And
I talked about that for 30 seconds. Bob, shut your mouth.
I was just giving an example.
Shut your fingertips, I guess I should say.
Oh, we talked about you, Bob, in the members only stream.
We talk about Bob all the time.
Yeah.
We say bad things. We make fun of him. We point our fingers and laugh. We do that all the time. It's just a normal thing for us. So anyway, STT, Seasoned Tank Time. Thank you, Elizabeth. You probably pushed pause and you're behind us. You're not in real time. Hopefully you watched this till the very end, and you'll hear me thank you for that because we were talking about that a while ago. But yeah, that was a great segment on Corey's live stream. I loved that. So anyway, we have gone over the time enough. This has been a lot of fun. Most fun I've had streaming in a while. It was a lot of fun tonight. So my throat is a wreck, and it's time for me to stop talking, which I know to you is a beautiful thing. So
The rest of the night's going to be quiet.
whatever. I'm going to go play video games and listen to My Chemical Romance and maybe even a little Sam Cooke. So thank you all so much for hanging out. Thank you to the mods, but I'm going to let you do the final thank yous and the final goodbyes.
Oh,
I always put it on you.
finally I get to talk. Just kidding. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. It was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed having everybody here and just everything. So we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye.